John, we're going to be talking tonight about a topic that you've covered extensively. It's Saudi Arabian nationals here in America. How are you, John?
I'm well, Jason. How are you tonight?
Well. I like this new setup. You've got the music equipment in front of you. I think a lot of people who watch us every Friday on Patreon and Subscribestar are aware that you've taken to putting out the message musically. I know you don't like it when I call it rap. It's sort of poetry, beat poetry, hip hop kind of a thing you've been doing. The thing I find about what you're doing with that's ingenious is that you're basically using the same techniques that Hollywood and the music industry use, many people would argue, against us, to embed the message in a musical type of entertaining tune so that people are kind of lulled into it without necessarily even knowing.
Well, I appreciate the kind words. I'm very uh, flattered. The first one I did 2 weeks ago, this Eminem's Darkness Vegas with the picture of Kaya Jones,
Mm-hmm.
that was the first one that I did. And when I did that, I just set this poem or lyric that I wrote to the basic music that I had already put together for the channel,
Mm-hmm.
and people responded pretty positively. And so the next one that I did a couple days after that, this one with the woman and the guy in the thumbnail, um, in that one, I decided I would sort of take one of his songs and see if I could play it.
Mm-hmm.
And I taught myself how to play the damn song.
That's amazing.
And yeah, and so, well,
Are you a musician?
I,
I think you
you
said
know,
you're not, right?
no. I own a guitar and I own a little keyboard thing here.
Yeah.
Um, we're not sponsored by anybody. These are not product placement plugs. But if anybody wants to know what this is in front of me, it's a Nectar Impact, and this is a MIDI controller that I use to control GarageBand. And what I started doing was just laying tracks down in GarageBand. I also have an acoustic guitar here, and so. But no, I'm not a musician by any stretch of the imagination. So there's people that have guitars, and then there's musicians. I'm not a
Right.
musician. I'm just a guy who's got a guitar.
But
So,
you have been putting
but
together these clever and entertaining, whatever we want to call them, musical, poetic things.
well, I'm glad you appreciate it. It seems like the people who are seeing it appreciate it. The comments. I don't know if you want to just take a quick peek at any of the comments on that one. Yeah. And this requires you've got to be 18, you've got to be signed in. So these are age restricted because I'm using pretty heavy duty adult lyrics and everything.
Yeah.
But the responses have been really really positive. And given these responses, I'm kind of surprised that this hasn't had more views. And I say this in light of the number of subscribers that I have.
Yep.
Right. So I've got over 23,000 subscribers now. And this video has how many views?
Yeah. 3,000.
Less than 3,000 views. Less than 3,000 views. And if you just do a generic search in YouTube right now for Eminem Darkness reaction and response, I think we'll see videos from other YouTube channels, Eminem Darkness reaction response. Those are the keywords. And I think we'll see videos from other channels. Let's see something that has 68,000 views or something. Well, that's a TV show. But I'm like BlueTube. This girl from BlueTube has 40,000 views, right? And how many subscribers does she have? Let's take a look at how many
Well, she's a
BlueTube
pretty
she has.
girl, so that's always gonna 15,000
Mm-hmm.
subscribers. Yeah,
All right, so she has
that's a huge
15,000
difference.
subscribers. She has 40,000 views. Now, I have Kaya Jones, though, Look at my thumbnail. My
Yeah, that's
thumbnail has
true.
Kaya Jones. All right, so yes, she's a pretty girl, but so's Kaya. So if
Mm-hmm.
you look at her thumbnail, you look at my thumbnail, yeah, she's got her. I've
Mm-hmm.
got Kaya in mine. She has 40,000 views and far fewer subscribers. Now, what about these guys on the couch with the beards that have 30,000 views? How many subscribers do these guys have?
Let's see.
Let's see.
Yeah. You
Okay.
have 9,000. Yeah, you're right.
So they
And
have
so these,
9,000 subscribers and they
they're
have
definitely not
30,000
pretty
views.
girls.
Right. So this is one of the reasons why I want to get one of the whistleblowers from Google to join us on the show to talk about how does Google do this? How does YouTube manage this? Because clearly the results are being manipulated.
Well, wait a minute.
Because if
Before
we
we jump
have,
to that
go ahead.
conclusion, John, didn't you say you have to be signed in and over 18 and all that stuff? Does any of
For
that
many of my videos, yeah,
play a
but for
role?
many of my videos, I have videos that require the age restriction of 50,000 views. So
Huh.
I don't know that that's the limiting factor here. Um, and then, for example, if we were to go to Twitter and we were to just do a quick search across Twitter just for the term Vegas shooting,
Right.
right? So if we went to Twitter and we did a Vegas shooting search,
We're at Twitter. Vegas shooting.
okay, and we just right up in the upper right hand corner, there you go.
Just one word like that?
No, I would separate it as two words.
Doesn't seem to matter.
See what happens. There you go. And just
Vegas
enter. Yeah.
shooting.
All right. So Lionel doesn't have a blue check mark. Gabe Cohen has a blue check mark. And this is not about the Vegas shooting, it's something else. But there's Sebastian Bach. And Sebastian Bach is a well-known frontman performer. He was the lead singer of Skid Row. He's performed on Broadway. And he's, I'm sure he's got a fair number of followers. And he's posting about the Las Vegas shooting. And
430,000.
Almost 500,000 people.
That's a lot.
That's a lot of people. And he's been on Twitter since 2008. So he's been on Twitter for 12 years.
Wow.
Right? Give or take, or 11 and a half years. Right? So
it's a long time.
He's been on Twitter for a long time. He's got almost 500,000 followers. He's living in Malibu. I've seen him perform. I saw him do something off Broadway or on Broadway. And I
He
appreciate
looks kind
what
of like
he's doing.
Ozzy
And again,
Osbourne, doesn't he? Like a young
oh,
Ozzy Osbourne.
he's got all kinds of looks. He's tall though. He's a tall guy. I think he's like 6'4" or something like that. So the thing with him, again, like Eminem, is he's basing his position on bad information. Right.
What is
So
his
he's
position?
saying,
What's
hey,
he saying?
go back to his tweet. What's his Las Vegas shooting tweet? That time has passed for conversation. When 500 people get mowed down in Las Vegas at a country music show, the time for conversation is gone now. When children go through active shooting drills at schools, it's time for action, not words, not thoughts and prayers.
Oh, so he's
Protect
anti-gun.
kids, not guns. Well, I'm not sure if he's anti-gun or what he's saying is that something needs to be done to get guns out of the hands of people who have mental health issues. I'm not sure. It's not that specific. I believe that there are things that need to be done. I think that there's loopholes, and I'm a gun owner and yeah, absolutely. And I'm a gun owner and an NRA member and all that kind of stuff. And yeah, there's stuff that needs to be addressed for sure. Right. There's too many people that aren't well mentally that shouldn't have these weapons. Right. And that needs to be addressed. But there's so many responsible gun owners in America. I mean, the numbers are stunning. For example, let me just share a couple numbers with you, rough and tough. There's a little bit more than 300 million people in America, right?
Yeah.
There's a little, just shy of 100 million gun owners.
Wow.
Yeah,
That's a lot.
high 80s or low, yeah, high 80s or low 90s that own guns, right?
Uh-huh.
And those 80 or 90 million people that own guns in America, yeah, how many people own guns in America? Let's pull it up.
Where's the mouse? Gun ownership. Well, this is Wikipedia, so people are going to immediately not like the statistics. Let me see. Who else would have a better answer to this? There are more guns than people in the United States. It doesn't sound like a real positive. This
Axios.
is Washington Post. Let's see what the Washington. I like sometimes looking at something that's. Oh, look, 393 million guns. That's interesting, isn't it? I don't think that's a real number.
So well, I think it's probably not that far off. So you've got about 80. Yeah, I think you have about 80 or 90 million people that own these 400 million guns. All right, so make the math easy, round these numbers out a little bit, and you've got about 80 or 90 million people in America that own about 400 million guns. And you ready for this?
Mm-hmm.
Over a billion rounds of ammunition. Okay.
Wow.
Many of these people are NRA members. And there's a saying amongst NRA members, right? All these civilian-owned firearms, right? And all these people that own them and who shoot them responsibly and own them responsibly.
Yeah.
And there's a saying amongst them, and that is, if we were the problem, you'd know it.
I don't think I get that.
The numbers are massive. There's 80 million gun owners with a billion rounds of ammunition. If we were the problem,
people would be getting
you
shot
would know
all
it.
day, every day.
Of course. The issue is guns are ending up in the hands of people who shouldn't have guns. Most of the gun violence is in the hands of people who are criminals. But if we really want to talk about preventing, deaths and tragedies and stuff like that, we need to be talking about automobiles and not guns, because automobiles are what kills kids indiscriminately. And there's a real simple way. There's a simple way to stop all the traffic accidents, all the automobile accidents. If you want to stop those deaths, it's really simple. And nobody wants to talk about that.
What is the simple solution?
We limit the speed limit in all automobiles to 35 miles an hour.
Nah, come on.
And that's it.
Still hit somebody going 35 miles an hour, and you could also accelerate past the speed limit.
Guess what? And guess what the fatality rate is? It's nominal. If all automobiles were limited to 35 miles an hour, the fatality rate in automobile accidents would be nominal. But nobody wants to. Everybody wants to go 100 miles an hour. Everybody wants to have a
solution. I don't think we're getting a little bit far afield.
Is disarming.
Yeah,
I understand.
We're getting a bit far afield from our topic here.
All right, so let's go back. So
let's go back. We have Sebastian Bach. That's interesting because you see, why do we suddenly have all these celebrity-type musical figures talking about Vegas? Why do they care all of a sudden?
Right. All right, and Sebastian's got a blue check mark. Phil, that remains below him, also has a blue check mark.
Who wants
to further discuss this? I don't know. Phil that remains.
Who is that?
I don't know who Phil. I don't know. Click on Phil. I sing in a band called All That Remains. Everything is stupid. Nothing matters.
Well, I don't know if this is a known guy or whatever.
I don't know. But all right, so let's go back to Twitter and go back to your search on Vegas shooting, and you're going to see a couple other people with blue check marks that have been tweeting about the Vegas shooting. And again, their positions are based on bad information. They're assuming that the narrative that they've been told is accurate, and it's not. All right, so here's a Las Vegas Review Journal thing. This Gabe Cohen thing is not a story. There's Sebastian Bach, so he's talking about it. So now my point here with the and here's Carol Roth.
Who's
I don't know
that?
if you know about Carol Roth. All right,
No.
so she's another. Okay, so let's take a look at Carol Roth. I don't know if anybody in the audience knows who Carol Roth is. She's an entrepreneur. She has this thing called Future File, and she does all kinds of deals and stuff. And she's kind of a big shot. If you click on carolroth.com and open that up, she's a very interesting woman. So and she has some very interesting tweets as well. So. Mhm. So
So I
she
don't know.
brings up
Yeah.
she's a businesswoman. She's a businesswoman. She does business consulting and stuff like that. But she's a power player. She's a real deal. And again, you go back to Twitter. She's got a blue check mark,
Right.
so she's validated, right? And she's got 75,000 followers, and she's tweeting about the Las Vegas shooting,
She's hanging
right? So
out
now,
with
what did
Disney
she say?
also. So I don't know.
Okay, so what did she say? What was her tweet about the Las Vegas shooting? Let's go back to that tweet a second ago. What answer will we get first? Who won in Iowa, or the motive for the Las Vegas mass shooting a couple years ago? And which answer will be more believable? Interesting. Let's take a look at the answers. Let's see who responded. 30 responses there. Let's take a look at
It's
those real
pretty good.
quick. All right. People are going to retire from the U.S. Space Force first. Right for the jugular. Now, the guy who responded to that right for the jugular comment, he has a blue check mark. Or no, excuse me, he doesn't. All right,
As
keep
a
going down.
spaceship.
Let's look at some.
He's
Yeah.
joining the Space Force.
There you go. There you go. Dan Gaynor has a blue check mark. I'm holding out for who killed JFK. So these are validated people on
How do these
Twitter that are
people with
participating.
17,000 viewers get blue check marks? I tried to get one. They said they're not giving them out anymore.
Uh, uh, there's a process you have to apply to verify at Twitter, and
Hmm.
it's I'm surprised you don't have it actually. How many followers do you have on Twitter?
27,000 or something?
Oh yeah, I'm surprised you don't have it. That's surprising. I
I don't
mean,
know. I looked.
you've
They
got
said
over
they
100.
don't give them anymore.
You have over 100,000 subscribers on YouTube now, right?
No, 89,000 because they keep,
89.
social engineers keep hitting the channel, and
Keep
every
knocking.
day there's people being unsubscribed. And then I get
Yeah.
emails from people telling me that they've been unsubscribed. But actually, John, we're almost out of time here, and we're going to head
All
over
right.
to Patreon and Subscribestar to start our
Well,
sponsor
here's
exclusive
here's what I
show.
want here. Here's what I want to ask people to do before we get into that. On Twitter, it's important for everybody to check in every week or two and see if people are posting about it and let them know to come to Crowdsource the Truth, watch these podcasts, go to the Johnny Hoover channel and watch these videos and put links in there because people are asking questions. People are saying, what happened? What happened in the Vegas shooting? And they're asking this on Twitter, and all of our viewers are not responding. And I think it's an opportunity for people to say, hey, if you really want to know, here, watch this, watch this. And the other thing I want to point out before we talk about going to the next show and what we're going to talk about today is this trend where people are interested in the newest videos. Everybody wants to watch the newest video and what's the latest video. But if we look at my videos and we sort them by view count and by popularity, and we look at the videos that have had the fewest views, the least popular, right? So if we start there and then we go all the way back after we see the most popular will be at the top of the list. But the most interesting videos are probably the ones that have the fewest views. So the ones that are all the way at the bottom of this list. And there's, I've published over 290. A bunch of these were made private because they're so controversial. But there's so much older material that has so much evidence in it, so many different camera angles and different body camera footages, and again, I go back and watch the old stuff and see new things all the time. And
Hmm.
so my recommendation to the audience is you may have watched these things before, but I mean, there's over 200 of these videos. And if you go back to the ones that have 1,100 views, 1,200 views, there's a really good chance that you didn't see that. And even if you did, it was a year and a half ago. And if you watch it again, you're going to see things and notice
Yeah.
things that
Right.
you just, like, wow, I didn't even notice that. How's that possible? And so there's just so much content here. I want to encourage people, go back and watch the older library, the stuff that doesn't have that many views. And even these with 4,000 views have more views than the recent Eminem stuff, the darkness video.
Hmm. Yeah, I
The
mean,
responses that I
it's
published.
something that's been happening lately, John. It seems like, YouTube maybe is changing its algorithm or who knows what, but my videos are getting fewer views as well. So, it's a difficult thing. Best thing for people to do is to share these preview videos with friends of theirs, post them on social media, email them to somebody that you know is interested in this kind of thing. And maybe that's a good way to help spread the word. And other than that, hopefully people will become sponsors at patreon.com/I am John Cullen or patreon.com/crowdsource the truth. We're also both on Subscribestar, so I hope we'll see people over there. We're going to head there right now, and the show is going to begin in just under 10 minutes. So I'll see you there, John.
Yeah, the Johnny Hoover channel is not monetized because the amount of content that we use that is other people's copyrights is extensive. So
Right.
because of that, this channel is not monetized at all. So the only support that we get is from our Patreon and Subscribestar supporters. And I can't tell you just how grateful I am. Doing this now full time, that's it. So everything I do on YouTube, there's none of this is monetized.
Yeah.
So if you're seeing a commercial, the funds are going to somebody who published the
Right.
music or
That's
something like that
amazing how
in
they
that
do
video.
that. I think it's going to
Yeah,
Google and they
yeah.
just tell everybody it's not monetized. All right, John, we'll see you over
Whomever,
there on
it's not me.
Patreon and
All right.
Subscribestar. Thanks for
See you
watching,
soon.
everybody.
All right, Jason. All righty.